Hey guys, what's up? This is Autobot JCB here with another top 5 Transformers Armada video. Today I'm going to be doing my top 5 picks for the Transformers Armada Decepticons. So I know that there was a lot of back and forth with the Armada characters. Some of them had poor character development, some of them had great character development, some of them had already long time established character development. But the 5 that I have selected for this lineup, in my opinion, I think are not only my favorite characters, but I think that they have like perhaps the strongest backstory, developments, and structure in the Armada series. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this, and we're going to get going. So coming in at number 5 for Transformers Armada, I gotta go with Sideways. I love the character design. I love the vehicle mode. I love the gimmick that the writer, I don't even have it out, sorry. I've got half of it right there. But the writer itself is actually a combination of the two heads that make up Sideways. Now, as we learn in the Transformers Armada series that Sideways is neither an Autobot or Decepticon. He was a puppet created by Unicron. There you go. You can see him right back there. I am not going to bring him over because he is way too big to fit in the camera frame. So there's his long-distance cameo right there. He was actually created by Unicron to not only spy on the Autobots, but also spy on the Decepticons and provoke them into fighting more and creating more hatred so Unicron could feed on that hatred and become more powerful and ultimately become the ultimate evil in the universe, which is what he actually is. Personally, the introduction of Sideways, I'm sorry guys, as much as I think this character is neat, excuse me, I believe he had one of the weakest introductions in the Armada series because it doesn't really say where he come. Like obviously in the episode, I can't think of the episode name right now, but it's the episode where the Autobots and Decepticons are fighting on the freeway, and there's the tunnel at the end of the freeway that the Decepticons are digging in and stuff like that. But I think that he had one of the weakest introductions. Obviously, in the episode, you see him crash into Earth, and all of a sudden, he just jumps out of nowhere in a motorcycle form. He didn't, and I'm trying to figure out if he already had that form, if he had to scan it or whatever. And then, just out of nowhere, when the kids later on in the episode are on the bridge, he just kind of rolls up out of nowhere and goes, "Hey, you guys looking to hitch a ride?" I was like, "Yeah, that's not weird at all," and it's just, in my opinion, kind of random. So, unfortunately, my top 5 spot, got to go to Sideways. And to be honest with you, the one thing I hate the most is that one episode, he's an Autobot, and the next episode, he's the Decepticon. It's just turn on a dime like that. That was a little too quick, in my opinion. Like, they could have had him a couple episodes on one side and the rest of the time on the other side. For his true character development. But, hey, missed opportunity. Not everything's perfect. It happens. So, number 5, Sideways. Number 4, I gotta go, for my number 4 spot, I chose this guy because of his history with the battle on Cybertron, and unfortunately, the way he fell to the Decepticons. So my number 4 spot, unfortunately, is Wheeljack. As much as I love this character, I will admit that his backstory on how he thought that Hotshot abandoned him, how he thought he betrayed him, I thought that was pretty sad. But I also think that the only reason that he even joined Megatron was because he was desperate. I understand he did think he owed loyalty to Megatron because Megatron saved his life. I get it. If I was trapped in an inferno and all of a sudden the leader of the Decepticons showed up and said, "Hey, you either do this or you die," I probably would have taken the same way. But I think that his fall from the Autobots to the Decepticons was pretty sad. I do like in the series that Wheeljack and Hotshot do come to some type of consolation. I think that's the right word, I'm sorry. Where they actually do see eye to eye and they forgive each other. I think Wheeljack finally ends up understanding that it was not Hotshot's fault. It was not Hotshot's fault that Hotshot never went back. It was not Hotshot's fault that Megatron showed up instead of him. It was not his fault at all. So I like that they actually found some type of remedy to the hatred between the two. So number 4, I gotta go with Wheeljack. One of my favorite things about this character is the fact that on his chest you see the big slash over the Autobot symbol, and then right down there just below it you can actually see a Decepticon symbol. I love how they kind of showed that as he is a fallen Autobot. But he's a pretty cool design. I love his, I think he's a Lamborghini. I don't know for sure. But overall, Wheeljack, I like his design. I like his story. And I think he had quite a bit of screen time for the Armada series. And one of my favorite things was that he and Hotshot actually had this link-up tornado move that they used when they were inside Unicron while they were pursuing Thrust and Sideways after Thrust stole the Skyboom Shield and the Requiem Blaster from Megatron. Or I guess in this case, Galvatron. Alright, so number 4, Wheeljack. Coming in at number 3, as much as I love to hate him because he's kind of he's kind of one of those he's not so much a brainless brute. He does have a kind of a compassionate side, as they show in the Energon series. But my number 3 spot for my Decepticons, I gotta give it to Demolisher. I love this character. I think that he, despite the fact that he's fiercely loyal to Megatron and will do anything to help the Decepticon cause, I think that for Demolisher, there's kind of a softer side because there are a few times where he feels like he's being picked on or he's getting the short end of the straw. I know we didn't get a super lot of character development with Demolisher, but overall, I think Demolisher was a great character for the Armada series because of how loyal he actually is to the Decepticon cause. And I especially love his tank mode and the fact that while he's in his vehicle mode, there's the little slot in between the tank treads that you can actually connect his Minicom Blackout into, and then you can actually deploy Blackout as a little recon vehicle for his tank mode. So number 3 spot, gotta give it to Demolisher. Now my number 2 spot was actually a very tough pick. I had to think about this one for a long time, but as much as I like the character, unfortunately, my number 2 spot, I'm sorry, I'm giving to Megatron. Megatron, as much as I appreciate him as a leader, I know he's one of he is like the absolute fiercest character in the Armada series. He is very, basically, you screw up, and that's, yeah, you're on like super thin ice or whatever. One of the biggest things I hate the most about Megatron is the fact that when he loses a fight, he blames his own men, even if it's his fault. It's like, what kind of example does that show for a leader to basically take out his own his own frustration over a loss on his own men when the loss was ultimately his fault? I never really understood that, but like I said, number 2's got to go to Megatron. I love the gimmick where you can actually flip the tank barrel all the way around to the front and give him his full blast mode. I like that he can combine with Tidal Wave, but as a leader, I'm sorry. I think at times this version of Megatron was kind of a weak leader because he seemed more interested in his own power than anything else. And he was very arrogant. He was very ignorant. And I think that's ultimately why he ended up being sealed inside Unicron for 20 years in the Unicron trilogy. But anyway, number 2 spot, Megatron. And then for my number 1 spot, I think similar to how Hotshot in my other video, in my top 5 Autobot video, had the most character development for the Autobots, I gotta give my number 1 spot to Starscream. I think he had some of the deepest and most powerful character development. Like, he started off as a fiercely loyal Decepticon, and as the series progressed, he actually was able to overcome his programming to a degree. He didn't fully transition to an Autobot. He did ultimately betray them, which is how the Decepticons ended up with all 3 of the weapons: the Star Saber, the Skyboom Shield, and the Requiem Blaster. But I think that one of the strongest foundations for him he started questioning everything, and despite being Megatron's second in command, obviously he's always trying to overthrow Megatron. He doesn't like how Megatron leads, because I think where Starscream's mind is more, we can do this way, Megatron is just straight punch in the face type of deal. I hope I'm not exaggerating that. I don't know if I am. But anyway, so I think that Starscream had some of the best character development, especially when he ultimately decided to defect. I think that's the correct word. Defect from the Decepticons, and he actually went straight to the Autobots, and the first thing he did was surrender. And he's basically saying, I'm not a Decepticon, I'm tired of Megatron, I want to help you guys. And he did for a while. He even helped Jetfire save a minicon from Tidal Wave on Mars. It was the Firebot minicon that Starscream actually convinced the minicon to not allow himself to be controlled and used as a weapon by the Decepticons, which is what convinced the minicon to fire at Tidal Wave. So my number 1 spot, Starscream, one of my favorite characters. And I know that Starscream had one of the saddest, in my opinion, one of the saddest deaths in the Armada series. He ultimately wanted peace. He wanted peace in the end. He tried to get Galvatron to see eye to eye with him and to see that joining with Optimus was the only way to attain peace in order to defeat Unicron. Ultimately, it worked, but unfortunately, Starscream did not survive long enough to see that development happen. And I'm sure that if he had, he would have been pleased with the result. But anyway, guys, so those are my top 5 picks for my Transformers Armada Decepticons. I got one more video coming, and it's going to be my top 10 for my Transformers Armada Minicons. I'm going to be having that one come out probably tomorrow. But anyway, so that's my top 5 Decepticons. If you guys have any opinions on maybe which character would be better off in one of those top 5 spots, I'm open to all your opinions. Feel free to comment below. Even hit that like, subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And until then, this is Autobot JCB saying bye.